Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey guys, Jasmine here. I know I feel like it's been forever. We had a whole pregnancy, a birth, a postpartum period, so it's been like, embarrassingly, I think it's been like a year since I recorded a video. I think the last video I recorded, I was like freshly pregnant with Baby Nile, and now he's what, 4 months old?
4 months old, big boy.
Yeah, so I'm back, and obviously, as you can see, very special guest here today, the husband.
Let me take that out. Let me not throw that sign out.
Let's not throw any signs.
Throw any signs. Take that out. We really wanted to do this right here. That's what we really wanted.
That's the only appropriate sign.
That was to my boy Ruiz. He's Hawaiian, so that was the hang ten for my boy.
So today we're going to talk about Baby Nile's birth, his home birth here in Tokyo. We had a traditional Japanese midwife. We had an incredible birth doula from Colombia, and I mean, yeah, it was quite the international experience, quite the international team we had.
Solely right. That's how we do it.
Yeah, so I guess, so with Savvy, with our first one, I went like 41 weeks, 3 days pregnant. We ended up being induced because the hospital was saying that it was just too dangerous to go beyond those dates. So we had a hospital birth with Savvy. We did hypnobirthing with her. Overall, just because of like our teamwork and everything that we did together, it was a really beautiful experience. But I knew after her birth that I was like just hoping and praying that you would be down for a home birth, because I knew that's what I wanted to.
You did a good job convincing.
Yeah, I mean, it was like subtle, slow convincing over like two years or so.
Well, you presented a lot of facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had no choice but to consider those, and based on our experience at the hospital,
yeah,
I was like, okay, it might be worth giving a shot.
Yeah, you were down. So with Nile, we went. Also, we didn't make it to 41 weeks. We were almost there. We made it 40 weeks, like in 5 or 6 days. Yeah. And at that point, I started getting anxious because I was like nervous that I was gonna have to do hospital induction. And I mean, during COVID times in Japan, like we're in Tokyo, so we're in a place where we don't speak the main language.
Yep.
Yeah,
you knew it was going to be an issue if we had to do hospital birth.
Yeah, and that I'd probably have to be alone because of like COVID things. So I started getting a little anxious about like, okay, is baby coming? When is he coming? What is happening? And my midwife, like So-san, she's so incredible. She never was worried. She was never nervous. She was always like, your baby's coming. You're not going to go to the hospital. Everything's fine. Yep. Yeah. So that like last like 3-4 days of pregnancy, we were doing everything to try to get him to come.
I mean, everything.
Special time.
That's right. Put in that work, fellas. Put in that work.
Yeah. And I was walking everywhere, like lots of walking, of course. Yeah. Eating dates, drinking raspberry leaf tea. I was doing, so throughout the pregnancy, we did Hypnobabies this time. And so I was doing like so much preparation and like meditation and hypnosis, like doing everything to try to get Nile to just come on his own. And so one morning, it was like, I think it was a Thursday, because Savvy had school.
Yep.
And the night before, we had special time.
Yep.
And then that morning, I woke up like, and I just felt like regular cramping, but it kept happening like every 20, 30 or minute. 20 minutes or 30 minutes in.
I knew I had put in the work. So we were ready to go.
You knew the work worked.
That's right.
Yes. And I was like, it's probably Braxton Hicks, because I had a lot of like Braxton Hicks for maybe a week or two. So I wasn't really convinced. And I'm just like getting Savvy ready for school. And just kind of like watching the clock, like looking at the clock every time I felt some cramping, but I didn't. I was just like, nah, I'm sure it's going to fizzle out. It's been fizzling out all week. Like, you know, what's the big deal?
She was not hearing that today was the day.
This could be it.
She was doing all the things, but she was still under the impression that we were far away from delivery.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm like, we're not even to 41 weeks yet. This can't be. So yeah, we got Savvy ready, and at that point, like normally, because her school's just a 5-minute walk up the hill, so normally I walk her to school, but at that point, I'd gotten tired of seeing all my mom friends. Hi, everybody. Love you, but I got tired of everyone asking me, oh, you're still pregnant? Oh, when does the baby come? Like, yeah, I'm still pregnant. So at that point, I was like, all right, you're on drop-off duty. I'm not going to the school anymore. They will not see me until I have a baby with me.
Yeah.
And so normally you were going to drop her off alone, but that morning I was like, I'll ride. I'll go with you. So it was raining, I think. Was it raining?
She subconsciously knew that it was the day. So
I didn't want to be alone.
She didn't want to be alone. She's like, I want to go with you everywhere.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, we're going to drop Savvy off. So I rode with him to take Savvy to school. We dropped her off, and you even like, I remember you being like, do you want to take video of her going into the school? Like, you were already thinking that like, oh, do you want video because this is the birthday?
There was something in the air. You could just tell. There was a feeling that it was the birthday. Now it was on its way. So we just knew. It
was different. Yeah. You knew.
Yeah, I knew.
So after we dropped Savvy off.
Savvy knew too.
Everybody knew except me. After we dropped her off, we were like, oh, let's run to the store. So there's this grocery store that's like, we go every week. It's like a international store here. So they have all the things that we like. So he's like, I'm going to go stop at the store. I'm going to load up on everything in case the baby comes this weekend. We'll have everything we need. And I'm like, okay, I'll ride to the store. Like, okay. So we go, and then it's so early, the store's still closed.
I'm telling you, I knew it was the birthday, so I'm trying to get us ready because we're going to have a home birth, so we're going to need supplies for a few days. We don't need to leave the house. We're going to have to spend, several days with the baby without leaving. And so, not to mention, we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic, so we don't want all that exposure.
Yeah.
So I am desperately trying to get to the store to get my family prepared to stay in.
He's so prepared that we're there like an hour or so before it even opens. And so we're sitting in the parking lot and we're like, And then my alarm goes off on my phone, reminding me that I had a bone therapy appointment, which is basically like, it has to do with like innate healing. It's, if you think about like going to a chiropractor, it's similar to going to a chiropractor, but it's a Japanese style of like pain relief, body alignment, helping you have restful sleep. So like it helped me so much throughout the pregnancy, and I had an appointment this day. But I totally forgot that I had an appointment until my alarm went off, and my phone's going off like, you have an appointment in 30 minutes across, on the other side of Tokyo. So I'm like, oh, I wonder. So I remember saying like, oh, looks like I have bone therapy today, but I wonder if I should go, because at this point I was still having the cramps coming. Like now they're like 17 minutes apart, and then 25 minutes apart, and then like jumping around.
Yeah.
So I called So-san, or I think I texted So-san and just was like, hey, I'm kind of crampy, but I have bone therapy in 30 minutes. Should I go? Should I come to you? What should I do? And she's like, she called me and she said, okay, definitely go to bone therapy. And then after bone therapy, come to the birth center, come to the birth house, and I'll do everything with you today. And then we'll go from there.
This is completely killing my doomsday prepping plans. I'm like, listen, we're at the store's not open yet. As soon as it opens, we're going to get our prep done.
Yeah, you wanted to sit there and wait for the store to open.
Yeah, she's like, no, but I have bone therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to bone therapy.
Yeah, so I have bone therapy, but I don't have like a purse, a wallet. Like I was lucky to even have my cell phone. I left the house with nothing, so we had to come back here, and I got all my stuff. And I remember I was like specifically packing, like I was like, let me get extra water, let me get extra protein bars. And I was kind of like, in case this is the day, like that was my first, like, in case this happens, even though it probably won't, but just in case. And so then we get everything packed up. I hop back in the car, go to bone therapy. Now at bone therapy, this was when I kind of, again, was like, maybe this is something. Yeah. Because, normally, like with Braxton Hicks, if it's Braxton Hicks, it would fizzle out. Like when you lay down or when you change your position, it goes away. But during bone therapy, like during the part where you're supposed to take like a 30 to 45 minute nap, I laid down and I was super relaxed, but I was still having the cramps. And so I was like, okay. Like I had maybe 5 or 6. Again, it just felt more like cramping at this point, but it was like 5 or 6 of those while I was laying down. And so I was like, okay, this is different. So, what were you doing when I was at bone therapy? Were you just waiting? Just waiting in the car? Yeah. And so, right after I came out, on my way out, I remember the bone therapist. So, he doesn't speak any English, and I speak very, very little Japanese. It's really not okay. And skoshi. And so, but I always say, like, in pregnancy and birth, I don't feel like there even has to, like, there's no such thing as a language barrier. It's just like, it's this connection that you have with the people who are taking care of you and who are taking care of your baby. And if you guys kind of understand each other, even without words, the language is not an issue. So I saw him through my whole pregnancy. We kind of understood each other, and what we didn't understand, we would use Google Translate on our phones and like talk back and forth. So, but as I was leaving, he could tell that also, and now let's add him to the list of people that also knew I was in labor. He could tell that like the baby was coming. So he said, as I was leaving, he like bowed and just said like, God bless your birth. And he like actually said it. It wasn't like Siri talking how he normally talks. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, I wonder how long he'd practice, like waiting for the day.
He practiced all night. He was like on Google Translate. Like,
yeah.
I gotta know how to say this.
Yeah. So it was so sweet, and so that made me feel like when he told me God bless your birth, I was like, oh, maybe this is happening.
Right.
So then run out to you, and by run I mean like waddle and walk very slow. Yeah.
Right.
So we hop in the car and then go to the birth house where So-san is waiting for me.
Still, I haven't grocery shopped yet.
Still no grocery shopping. Now I think it's maybe about, maybe 11 or so. And so we head over to So-san's. I get there. She has this just amazing lunch ready for me, like a hot meal. She's like, come in, come rest, relax, eat some good food. So it's like a lot of plant-based stuff, high protein stuff. Everything was hot, because here, just like similar to like Chinese medicine, they believe so heavily in just like warming your body from the inside.
That's right.
Especially during pregnancy and birth. So yeah, I had that great meal. And I actually sat down with other moms who were at the birth center who had recently had their babies. And so they were like down in the common area. We're all sitting on like the tatami mats, sitting on the floor, eating together. So I'm in labor, but like not fully aware. And then I'm sitting with other women who just gave birth. And so it was like such a, like a special experience.
Like a commune type
deal,
right?
Yeah. And again, here goes the language barrier thing again, but just a lot of smiling and nodding and like, you know, just understanding where everybody is. Yeah. So, let's see. Let me think. So that was lunch. Okay. So then after food, So-san had me go into this back room and like lay down on the tatami mats, and she strapped a monitor around my belly, and this was basically, I feel like, what would be like the equivalent of like a stress test in the States. But I was just laying on the floor. She turned off the light. She turned on the fan. And I was just like relaxing in there for 20 minutes. And she monitored the baby. And she was trying to see like if I was having any contractions. And trying to see, don't go too far away from me. If I was having any contractions. Or if we were, or like if baby's heart rate was okay. And so she came back 20 minutes later and she's like, well, baby looks great, but you haven't had any contractions. And I'm like, oh man, of course. Like all day I'm having these like cramps and stuff every 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then I get there and nothing.
So at least you had an ally who thought that the baby wasn't coming yet.
Yeah, I know. At least So-san also agreed with me that we have more time. That's a good point. And but one point that she made though, she's like, you know what though? Like she didn't dismiss the morning that I had. Like she was like, you know what? This is normal though for your body to take a break when you're out and about, especially. So what's probably happening is your body's resting, and then later tonight, when you get back home, you're in your space, when it's dark outside, your contractions might start back up. So she wasn't like, you know, 3 more weeks pregnant, you know, she didn't like write me off. Thank God. So, and she didn't tell me to go home. Like even after that, even after she saw there were no contractions, she's like, so next you're going to go upstairs and see the reflex.
Which would have happened at a hospital.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they would have said, oh, are you kidding me? Like, go home. Yeah. So she sent me upstairs to another magical woman with magical hands and healing hands. And I saw a reflexologist, which is basically like foot massage of your dreams. And so she did reflexology on me, and she hit a lot of like different points and stuff. And then after that appointment, I went back downstairs and saw another bone therapist. So not the one I'd been to that morning, but this was a separate one who did a little bit more physical stretching and stuff with me. So I laid down on this like heated floor, and she like stretched my body out and put me into different positions and like really made sure my pelvis was like in line. And then I went back to So-san, and we just kind of chatted a little bit, and she's like, you know what, like I think your baby will come, like this was a Thursday, so she was saying like probably by Sunday your baby will come. And I'm like, by Sunday? That's it. I'm like, by Sunday, like that's gonna put me too close to like I'll be into the 41st week. And then I started having the anxiety about like having to do induction. So
just because you were still kind of scared from last time. Thinking that the baby's gonna be too big, and I hope I don't have bra straps showing. That's just tacky. No.
Okay. And so I kind of just casually brought up like, So-san, how do you feel about castor oil? And she was like, yeah, I mean, it works. I think it'll work for you. I don't think you need it, but we can do it if you want to. Like she was always very much like about like my choice. Like, she wasn't ever forcing her thoughts or anything on me. It was just like very much in support of what I wanted to do. And so that was just invaluable. And so I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do castor oil. I don't want to be pregnant until Sunday. And I was like, but where in the world will I get castor oil in Tokyo? And she's like, oh, I sell it here. You can buy it. Oh. Way to
Stop
bury
shop.
the lead.
Yeah.
We should have started with that. So she brought out a couple bottles of castor oil, and she told me like exactly what she wanted me to do. She's like, okay, take X amount of it, mix it with a little bit of warm milk, drink it this evening before bed, and then that should get things going. And then if it doesn't, we'll do tomorrow night, we'll up the dose a little bit. Like the one thing she told me before I left the birth house, she's like, you know, there's another mom who's also due, like in this time frame, similar to you. You guys are basically like in the same place right now. At this point, I'd been like walking around at a 2. So like I'd been 2 centimeters dilated for like maybe about 2 weeks. And so she was saying her other client, the other mom she's working with, was about like in the same place, and she was on her 4th baby. So she's like, could come anytime. Baby could come anytime. Yeah. And so she said, but don't worry, I'll be at both of your births. She's like,
Sosan was slick. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah. And she said, like, I told your babies to talk to each other in heaven and decide which baby's coming first and make sure they give me plenty of time to get some rest in between. So she's like, so I'm not worried at all. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
I just love that she was like, we believe the same things. Like she totally believed that the babies would decide when's best for them to come. And I love that. I love the thought and like the idea that these 2 babies, their souls were just talking with each other up there for a few days, trying to figure out like, okay, you going down? Am I going down? You going down? When do you want to go? Okay, I'm trying to go on this day. And they worked it out. But yeah, so she sent me on my way with my castor oil, told me to take it that night. And I get out to the car. Oh, in this time, so this is now, I think you dropped me off at like 11:30 in the morning. You picking me up close to 5. It's like about 5 o'clock. So I'd been at Sosan's all afternoon getting all the things, all this incredible treatment. And I just want to say how grateful I am because, you know, in the States, you go past your due dates and they're threatening you with, oh, your baby's going to be too big. Yeah. Oh, you don't have enough fluid in you. We need to induce all these things. Very,
very fear-based.
Yeah. Here, under Sosan's care, I was going beyond my dates. And I basically had, like, the spa day from heaven.
Yeah. like, just come over here and hang out.
Yeah, just come hang. I'll feed you. You get all the massages. Like, I am so grateful just for that experience. So, yeah, 5 hours at Spa de Sosan.
Right.
I come out to the car. You're there. What have you done in that 5 hours? You were running all around back and forth.
Everything. Just trying to get the house together. Trying to get all the stuff, all the supplies that we need. Trying to kind of devise a plan just in case, getting my head together. I mean, you know, one of the things we did prior to the birth day was we went out and recon the hospitals just in case we had an emergency situation. So just getting all of that stuff together.
Yeah. And you also went and picked Savvy up from school. So you drove over there, then back to Sosan's. So when you came to pick me up, Savvy was actually in the car, and she just had like a face full of ice cream and like... Well,
you know, daddy-daughter ice cream dates are a must.
Yeah, that was their thing. Anytime I was with Sosan or I was in bone therapy, if you had Savvy, you guys got ice cream.
That's
so.
Right.
Came to the car and she's just like, Mommy, and she's got like ice cream everywhere, and I'm like, oh, so sweet, so good. And I hop in the car, and then also you were like working that day, so you were like on the phone and emailing, like doing all these things all day. So
it was supposed to be a work day.
Yeah,
for me, but you know, it is what it is. You have your wife is in labor, because you were pretty much in labor.
They say.
So you got to do what you got to do. So yeah. While I was planning, running around trying to get the house together.
Yeah.
Answering emails.
Yeah, doing all of that.
Doing all of that, yeah.
So I hop in the car and you're like, all right, now we're going to the store. Finally, we're going to the grocery store.
Right.
So we go back to the store that we started at in the morning. Still, I'm having no contractions, no surges, no cramping. We get to the store, park. I jump out of the car. As soon as my feet hit the ground, I had like this big contraction. Like, it was different than any of the other ones I'd been having, like, in the days leading up to it.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I can't. I can't go.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go. And then you're like, okay, me and Savvy will go. We're going to run in. Because one thing's for sure, we were not leaving the store without everything you wanted to get.
We needed to get our prep on. We are not leaving here. I don't care if you're having this baby right now. We are not leaving the store. Just tell the baby to hold on. We're going to run up in here for like about 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Get the stuff. And we'll be back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys ran in.
Yep.
And I just walked around the parking structure because, yeah, you told me, like, just sit in the car, but I didn't. At that point, like, now I was feeling the surges coming, and I was like, I didn't want to sit in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sit, so I'm just kind of walking around. I remember, like, taking my cell phone and propping it up against, like, the tire of our car and pressing record, and I was just like, how cool will it be to, like, document that here I am possibly in labor. I mean, I don't know, but if I am, how cool will it be that, like, one of our stops along this journey was, like, at our local neighborhood grocery store that we go to every week. And yeah, so I just got to walk around a little bit by myself, still kind of just like thinking, like, if I can walk it off, you know, like, sometimes if you're just crampy and then you just keep walking, everything just goes away. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. Like, I just want to walk until everything simmers down.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It didn't simmer nothing simmered. Nothing, that didn't happen. No, you guys came back. That was the fastest grocery run ever.
We got it all, too.
Yeah.
Just grab whatever.
It was literally,
Yeah.
I can imagine you guys were just like,
grab whatever,
throw
try
it
to
in
get
the
back.
car.
Yeah.
And then you guys came out, load up the car. We left. And we made one more stop. So Thursdays, like, is normally the night where we'll do, like, Uber Eats or pick up food or something on the way anyway. And so we kind of just stuck with that.
Yeah, she wasn't going to cook that night.
I would have tried.
I know you would have. That's why we had to stop to get some food.
And so, yeah, we stopped at a little place that we always go to, like, where we like to get salads and fries and stuff from. And you ran in, and while he was inside, I had another big contraction again. Like, one that was just like, oh my gosh, that was something.
Yeah.
But I was just sitting in the car with Savvy, and so just kind of like, all right. Nope, just kind of like, noted, like, that happened.
Yeah.
And we went home, ate dinner, normal. I tidied up the kitchen, normal. I feel like I was, like, doing laundry, normal.
She's trying to be normal.
I was doing...
Still not thinking that the baby's coming.
Yeah, and meanwhile, he's, like, putting together the... like, bringing the birth pool upstairs, like, moving furniture out of the... Because we had the birth pool down in the basement, and, so you're, like, moving the furniture in the living room and, like, getting the room all set up. And I just remember being like, why is he...
The baby's coming. We know this. We gotta stop being in denial over here. The baby is coming.
I just remember saying, like, you know, this stuff could be up here like this for days. This could be days before this baby comes. And we're gonna just have, like, this pool in the middle of the floor. Savvy's gonna be, like,
meanwhile, she's just had these 2 big contractions throughout the day.
And also, we're also at this point, I remember you actually had started the contraction timer, like, on your phone. And so, like, in the middle of conversation, as I'm like, why are you even setting up this room? Like, we don't need the... Can you press the button? Can you press... This is... I'm having a contraction. Like,
and
like,
big ones.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then just still doing what he's doing, trying to put, like, I had, like, these, like, affirmations that my friends sent, and we had stuff printed out, and we had, like, candles and lights and all these things. So he's, like, setting up everything, and I'm, like, irritated that he's doing it because I feel like it's gonna pressure. It's like, God, the pressure is on for this baby to come now. And meanwhile, I can't even, like, have a conversation without, like,
having a contraction.
Yeah. And so, but I remember thinking, like, okay, well, if the room's together, at least maybe it'll get me in the right mindset, like, mindset. Like, I'll be able to, like, visualize the birth even better. So, okay, I'll let him do what he's doing. It's fine. And then So what did we do? At that point, we took Savvy up to go to sleep.
Yep, it was getting late.
It was getting late, like
Yeah.
maybe 8:30 or so.
Right,
It's her
right.
natural bedtime, so we
Mhm.
put her down. And I always thought, like, when I was in labor, if I had the time to put her down, I was gonna do like this long, like, goodbye, like this long emotional, like, I love you so much. Yeah, you're always like, no, it was just like a regular, like, okay, good night, love you. Like, we said our little things that we say, and it was sweet, but it was very regular. Like, it was just another night.
Yeah.
I think because I was still like in denial.
Yeah, didn't think that the baby was coming.
Yeah. And so then I went back downstairs and I was like, God, I really got to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to the bathroom and like having surges at the same time. And I remember just yelling to Julian, who's still in the living room. I'm like, can you start the timer? Like from the bathroom, you know? And then, when I say going to the bathroom, I mean like going to the bathroom, like almost like diarrhea was happening. And I have like all kinds of digestive issues, so diarrhea like is not a common thing for me. The fact that I was going to the bathroom that much, I'm like, this is unusual.
Something's up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, babe, can you send me a screenshot of like the contraction app so I can see what the like intervals are? And when you sent it, I was like, oh, they're like every 8 minutes or so for like an hour. And I'm having diarrhea. And I was like, maybe I should text Sosan. So from the toilet, I'm like sending her the screen grab and telling her like, I'm having diarrhea and having the surges like every 8 to 10 minutes. And she's like, her text back was like, do not take the castor oil. Whatever you do. Because
She knew what was up.
Oh, man, yeah.
It would have been worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you know anything about what castor oil will do to you, it will clear you out. So she's like, if that's already happening naturally, you don't need to touch it. So thank God. I'm just so grateful I didn't like just go on about my night. Like, oh, let me go take the castor oil now. I'm so happy I texted her because, yeah.
If things weren't happening as fast as they were,
yeah,
you would have took that.
I would have. Yeah.
Would have been
bad.
Yeah.
So then after getting up from the bathroom, oh, that's one thing Sosan said too. She's like, don't take the castor oil. Maybe go take a bath and just relax for the evening. And I started thinking, you know, like my doula brain kicked in and I'm like, oh, she wants me to take a bath because if this is labor, she wants it to like slow down. Because I'm thinking she's probably with that other mom that was also like having pre-labor for the, you know. So.
See, Sosan knew what she was doing. Sosan's smart.
She's like next level, like out of this world, like connected to things far beyond. Yeah. So we, I come upstairs, take a bath, and I'm thinking like, well, this will surely fizzle things out. At least we can then get a good night's sleep, and then maybe we can do stuff like have a baby. Maybe we can do stuff in the morning, like have a child. So I come up, take a bath, and I remember in the tub, I started feeling like all day the cramping was just in my stomach, like in the front.
Yeah.
And then the tub, I started feeling it like wrap around. So it was like in my lower back, and it was almost like just a belt of like pressure. And I was like, I'm in the warm water, and the surges are like increasing.
Started to feel it in your back.
And wrapping around. So I was like,
that's like.
Yeah, because with Savvy, I had a lot of back labor. Like, so that was another moment where I was like, okay. I think I might be in labor. And so I was like, I tried to start my like Hypnobabies, like the very first, like, you know, there's an order that you're supposed to listen to everything. The very first one is just like a casual, like, it's your birthing day, you know. So I tried to listen to that in the beginning, and then I was like, listen, if it's my birthing day, I gotta get out of this tub. I gotta go do my makeup.
Started thinking about all the things.
I gotta be prepared. Like, if this baby is coming, I gotta look okay for these photographs. Because what we're not gonna do is have some pictures taken, and I'm like, well, Nile, you will never see these. So So then I went downstairs, got out of the tub, went downstairs, started doing my makeup. And at this point, the surges were so strong that you were having to do like back pressure.
Doing back pressure constantly.
Yeah.
So we're in it now.
Yeah. So I'm like doing my makeup. I'm like in the mirror, and then I'm like, okay, can you hit the contraction timer, and can you squeeze my lower back? Like, and he's doing all the things like while I'm doing my makeup.
Deja vu. She is in labor, just like your Savvy. Yeah.
While but I'm also listening to the Hypnobabies, so we have a lot going on. And I just remember you being like, we should text Martha. That's our doula. We should
get the doula over here.
And I was like, God, no.
Because mind you, I'm still not done setting up the room.
Yeah.
Downstairs.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm like, no, don't wake Martha. We're fine. Hit the contraction app, and then squeeze my back. Like, I'm like all these things, and then I'll have like a moment where I'm totally fine. I'm like, no, we don't need her here. She's resting. Let her rest, like. And he was like, yeah, okay. And so he's like secretly texting Martha.
Get her over here.
Yeah. And and a good thing you were, because she was needed.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point it's about 9:30 at night. We've now been up since the morning, like 5 a.m. that morning. And
so we learned from the last birth that, rest is essential. So she needs to be able to rest. I need to be able to rest. So we didn't want what happened last time to happen this time, where we're up for 24 plus hours straight. And we don't have the energy to conduct the birth process.
Yeah. So our thinking was like, this time, if we could get Martha over, then you could rest. We could kind of take turns. That way, at least one of us would be well rested throughout the night. Yeah. So he texts Martha. I didn't really know it. And next thing I know, I'm like finishing up my makeup. Martha comes in. I'm just like, hey, Martha, like, good to see you. I'm like, oh, how so funny you'd show up here.
Trying to have a normal conversation, and she's going through contractions.
Yeah, having surges. And so Martha's like, let's get upstairs. Let's go to your room. And the one thing I will say is that, like, through the whole pregnancy, I spent so much time here in our room. And, like, this was, like, my safe place. It's where I just felt like, man, like, it was just like my sanctuary. I did all of my Hypnobabies prep in here. Our room just feels like, I love how the energy is in here. And so I was always saying, like, I wish I could have the baby up here in our room. Yeah. But I knew that, like, the birth tub wouldn't fit. The birth tub needed to be on the main floor. And so in my mind, there was all these reasons why, like, it wouldn't work. I wouldn't really get to, like, have the baby up here. Yeah. But it was really special that I ended up laboring the whole night right here in our room. That's what I was picturing and hoping for, but didn't know how it would work out. And it just did.
And, Martha, our doula, she had told us, before, like, you got to think of birth in the same way you created the baby. It's the same way you needed to bring the baby into the world. So you need to be in a comfortable space. You needed to think of a loving place. And you needed to have the lights dim. You need to set the mood, all that good stuff. So, it definitely helped that she labored in our bedroom. Because where we created the baby.
That's where we made him. Yeah. And so to come up here and also, like, again, it's like 9:30 to 10 o'clock at night. We're tired, so it was nice to just come up and, like, I just climbed in the bed and what we were doing was, like, I would lay down, and then when I would have a surge come, you and Martha would, like, put heat packs on my lower back and put a lot of pressure on my lower back, and then when the surge went away, I would lay back down. And at this point, I'm, like, really getting into my Hypnobabies. I'm, like, maybe on the second or third track. And I'm getting really just deep into my meditation. I was so relaxed. And even though I was only sleeping, like 3-4 minutes in between the surges, I would actually...
You're still getting rest.
Yeah, I was so rested. Like, I felt just... Man, I can't believe, like, I've heard stories about that, like, people being so at peace and so relaxed, they're sleeping through their birth. What? Yeah, like, and I just remember, like, when a surge would come, it's like so with Savvy, we did an induction, and so I felt like just like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, overwhelmed. There was no break. It was like the contractions were just like hitting me, like they were like attacking my body.
Yeah, double peaking contractions, just back to back to back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the things that played into the fact that we were so exhausted, because there was just no breaks in between, and that's because of the induction.
Yeah, and so this time though, I got to actually feel how it was, like the natural experience and like the perfect cocktail.
Yeah.
Where like I was resting, and then like I felt the surge coming. Like I knew, like my body would tell me like, okay, wake up, you're gonna have a surge, and then I would feel it go up, and then like it would increase, and then decrease. Now you can go back to sleep. And it was just like, wow, like I was like, this is beautiful. Like I was so just in awe of like the process this time, and I wasn't like running from them this time. I didn't mind them. Yeah.
No, those chemicals are released. We know, through our training that the body has natural chemicals, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. It's being released. You're supposed to get this cocktail at this point. But, that comes. The more naturally you do this, those things happen. So
it was
that's
incredible.
what we were chasing.
Yeah. And so at this point, we were handling it so, I guess, well. I do remember like every time you and Martha, like I was very direct. Like I was like, I need pressure here. I need heat here. And then as soon as the surge would end, I'd be like, I'm so sorry, guys. And thank you so much. Like for the whole birth, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Thanking you guys and apologizing.
She thought she was being Birthzilla, but...
You Birthzilla.
But no, you were fine.
Yeah, I just felt like I knew exactly what I needed, and I'm grateful I was able to communicate it.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I was just so grateful that you guys were like there, because but we were doing so well at this point and you were comfortable enough with everything that you were actually like, Martha and I were like, you should go take a nap. Mm-hmm. And you were like, I could do that. I could sleep.
Yeah, because we had such a capable doula.
Yeah.
We, it was just that trust. Knew she would handle it, and we knew labor was going to go for a while. So, we might as well, be rested for the big show. And as we were seeing, she was able to get some rest in between the contractions. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, let me go take a nap. And when it starts to get, turned up a little bit more, Martha texts me, I'll wake up, I'll come, and we'll make it happen.
So I just love that you were like so at peace enough to actually go to sleep, because just knowing you and how we are, like as protective as you are, like there's no way in hell you would have gone to sleep when we were in the hospital at Savvy's birth.
No, it's
so
just,
to see that you were so confident to sleep here, I think it actually made me be like, because I'm always, how I am, like when we fly, like on a plane, I'm always looking at you to see like if we're about to die. So if you're calm, then I know that like it's fine. So the fact that you're like, I'm gonna go to sleep, I was like, oh, like we must be doing pretty well. I could tell since you were calm.
Yeah, a combination of us being in our own house.
Yeah.
Having a trustworthy doula, and knowing that we haven't done anything out of order that's going to affect her body negatively. So everything's fine. We're all calm. There's nothing, that could go wrong that we couldn't handle. So it was time for me to get some rest.
Yeah. So that was good. So you went down to the basement. You like took pillows and stuff. Went down. And then it was just Martha and I up here, and we just continued that rhythm and that dance that we were doing, where I was listening to my Hypnobabies, I would rest, basically sleep.
By this time, Sosan's staff started to show up too.
Yeah, I remember Martha saying like, so Jasmine, these are getting pretty close together. I think I'm gonna call Sosan. And I'm like, no, Martha, no, we don't need to call Sosan. Again, I'm like, no, we're fine, Martha. Like, and she's like, yeah, you're handling it well, so you don't realize. But this is like labor. Like this is happening. I'm like, okay. So she contacts her Sosan, and one of her midwives come, and I remember them coming in. They were just kind of like watching a little bit, and then Sosan asked if she could check me, and when she did, she said that I was only 3 centimeters. And mind you, remember I'd been walking around 2 centimeters for a couple of weeks. So this means in all this time, all day till now, like maybe 10:30 at night or so, I'd only gone 1 centimeter. But I didn't, like, when she said that, I just remember, like, again, I had my Hypnobabies in my ear the whole time, and so I was just in another world. But I remember just kind of, like, seeing her here, and she looked foggy in the room, and I heard her, but it wasn't like she was, like, her words didn't, like, sink into me. It was just, like, I heard her, and then I dismissed it. It wasn't, like, 3 centimeters? I wasn't in the state to, like, do the math, to, like, know what that meant, like, and so I was just kind of, like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I'm enjoying this so
the process,
much.
right?
Yeah,
because that could have went.
That could have, and I've had that with some of my doula clients. I've seen that where you get thrown off by hearing the number or hearing that, and but I just remember her when she said 3 centimeters. I was kind of like, I'm actually fully okay with, because she said, you know, she's like, she looked at me and she's like, baby's coming, this is happening, but baby might get here tomorrow night. Like, this might be a very long labor.
Right.
And I just remember saying, like, to myself, like, you know what, though? Like, I'm actually okay with that. I'm having a great time. Like, I'm sleeping. Yeah. I have got my hypnosis going. Martha's incredible. Like, Julian's resting. Like, I'm not in a hurry. So if if the baby wants to take his time, I'm okay.
Nobody's spazzing.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's what would have happened at the hospital.
Yes.
You know, this is going to be, that's just what they're trying to do.
You're on the clock.
You're on the clock. So
yeah,
nobody's rushing, nobody's spazzing.
It was nice that Sosan was like, so I'm gonna go have Julian get me a blanket and I'll be on the other couch and we're just gonna go sleep and you guys keep doing what you're doing and we'll come up and check on you and baby every hour or so. Yeah. And so Martha's just like the MVP. As I'm telling the story, I'm like, Martha's the one who never got a break here.
Poor Martha.
She was incredible.
Thank you, Martha.
Yes.
You're the best.
And that's coming from like one doula family to another. Like we understand what that level of support and commitment is. So we're so grateful. But so Martha and I just kept doing our thing, and I was also so grateful that Martha also always believed in me, and she was never like, even when she also heard, oh, only 3 centimeters, she was kind of like, okay, oh, we'll be here till tomorrow night, that's fine. Like, she never was shook, she never showed any like negative reaction to that, and so that was so big for me. And so we just kept doing different positions. One thing that she had me do was like every 30 minutes she would wake me up, like in between a surge, she'd wake me up and we would walk to the bathroom. And so that was like that was so good for my body, because that got me up, got me out of the bed. Now we're walking. So there's so many position changes that were happening just in our trips to the bathroom. And then obviously, if you know, the toilet is like your BFF in labor. It's like holding a deep squat. So it's a great position for your pelvis, but it's also a place where you can rest. Like I was like leaning on the counter while being in that deep squat, like while sitting on the toilet. So many advantages to having a knowledgeable doula, because they're going to know all the tricks, but they're not going to do it in a way where you're going to feel like you're being inconvenienced. It's just all part of the protocol. It's natural. Here, let's go do this thing. And meanwhile, it's all tied into getting the baby to come. The birth is going. So we were going back and forth to the bathroom every 30 minutes. I'm doing my Hypnobabies. She was rotating me from side to side while I was like doing my 3-minute naps. I'd do like 3 surges on one side, and then she'd flip me over to the other side, and we'd put pillows in between my legs. Like she was doing all the things. She was so good. And I just remember during the surges, like throughout the pregnancy, I was practicing Hypnobabies, and one of the like meditations that you do, and one of the things that they walk you through is creating your safe space. And so that was one of the visualization projects that we did. And so the place that I went to throughout the pregnancy, that was my safe place, and the place that I went to during every surge was Aruba, where we got married. We got married on a private island with just our closest family and friends. And there was like actual flamingos walking around our wedding ceremony with us. I'll tell you, the flamingos were bowing to the queen over here, and she's walking out. It looks like a Disney movie or something. Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was amazing. And so that's always my safe space, always my happy place. So during the surges, it was us. We were back on that island. It was just me, Julian, Savvy, and Nile was actually with us there.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and Julian's arms were linked, and like he's like got his cigar and like his vacation hat,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like laughing. And then Savvy's like running around with the flamingos, like chasing them, and she's laughing. I could like hear her laugh so clearly. And like it's warm and the sun is setting, and like I'm holding Nile in my arms, and it was just like, so if you can imagine, that's where I was during every surge. Like
Mm-hmm.
even when Julian was taking a nap, I felt like he was with me during the birth because I saw him, heard him, felt him like so clearly in my mind because of the hypnosis that I was doing. And it was to the point where like you would think that if you're sleeping and then you have to wake up to have a contraction, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I have to go. But it was to the point where it was like when the surge would come back down and I would come back to,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, like I want to stay here. Like I want to stay here on the private island. I want to stay in the surge.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I had to wake up to get ready for each surge, I was like excited because I was like, I'm going back. Like I could feel the warmth. I could smell the ocean. Like, yeah, like man. So that's where I was through the birth, was on the beach, with my favorite people. So that was amazing. And so we're just kind of going through that, Martha and I up here. And I remember at one point, so I was always thinking like through the pregnancy, like I wonder how I'm gonna be like being a doula. Am I gonna be so in my doula brain trying to make myself go through all these different positions and stuff, all the positions, if I was gonna be overthinking things. But I remember just being so out of my body and like just in such a primal state. At one point I had asked Martha if she could run and get the birth ball for me, and I just like when she brought it up, I just took it from her and started doing different positions on the birth ball. And I remember at one point Sosan was up here with us, and I just got off the birth ball and I just climbed onto the bed like on all fours. I was just on the bed rocking back and forth on all fours during a surge, and I was just doing like movements that were just coming to me, like the baby just knew what movements I needed to be doing.
Yeah.
And the whole time, now you've been up now for a while. You've been like bringing me like coconut water and like healthy snacks and like
you gotta have the snacks and the water and everything on standby.
The healthy snacks.
The healthy snacks, because labor, you don't know how long labor is going to be. She's going to need to refuel. She's going to need energy.
It's like a marathon. Yeah, and you were great helping me with that.
Got to have it ready to go.
Yeah, and that was another thing we learned from our first one. We didn't have all of that. So
we didn't have our food ready.
Yeah,
we just weren't prepared.
We were rookies. And so also at this point now that I'm like doing all the things up here with Martha, Sosan and her midwife are coming in and checking baby's heart rate and everything. You were downstairs. I think at this point you and Sosan had started trying to get the birth tub filled.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. What was that like?
Well, Sosan knew the exact level the water needed to be at and the exact temperature the water needed to be at. So, I had already set up the room, so the birth tub was just on standby. And so...
But is that like an easy thing to do, or is it seems like it's like quite labor intensive?
Well, you just gotta, know what you need. So when I knew we needed a birth tub, you need a tarp, on the ground just in case water spills. You need a hose that connects directly to, whatever faucet you're going to be nearest. And you need to have some type of temperature control because the water needs to be comfortable. So you got to go, just think about all that. So your nearest home goods store, you need to be able to snatch up some of those things if you're going to have a home birth. So it wasn't hard because we had already thought about what we needed, weeks prior. So when Sosan showed up, she was super happy because we had everything she needed. So at that point, it was just, hey, let's fill it up to this level. Let's make sure the temperature is perfect. And, when the baby comes, she'll be ready to get in.
So you guys were like running the hose from the kitchen sink and like doing all the things.
Running the hose from the kitchen to the tub, filling it up, coming back every so often to check the temperature, making sure it was still good, adding more water if needed. Yeah.
And so at one point for me upstairs in Laborland, I had like my ear pod
Mm-hmm.
fell out of my ear, and so I lost my Hypnobabies, and I was very much present. Like, everything was like, skirt, like, you're in labor, this hurts, like, all the things. Like, I was very aware. And so I was super loud through one of the surges. Like, I was not the peaceful, beautiful situation that had been happening the whole night. I was loud to the point where, like, Savvy's room is right down the hall, and it woke her up, and she came running into our room. But I remember as soon as I saw her face, she's like, Mommy, and she's like reaching for me in the bed, and I just remember asking someone to put her in the bed because I just wanted to, like, hold her. I was so happy to see her. And so we just had this beautiful moment of just, like, me squeezing her, and she's just, like, squeezing me, and her face is, like, I've seen pictures of it, her face is, like, so scrunched up because she's, like, squeezing me so hard. And then you came up and just took her back to her room. You're like, okay, let's go back to bed, before I had another surge. So it was like that 3 minutes was just spent, like, us hugging with Savvy. And then you took her back to her room. I got my ear pod in. I found my right track on the playlist, my right hypnosis track, and I was back good to go. I actually feel like I was better off because I think it was almost something that, like, my heart needed. Like, I needed to see Savvy. To kind of get that permission to, like, bring her brother, like, into the world. Like, okay, like, is this okay with you that we're doing this now? Is this kind of like a little moment of that? And so yeah, that was special. So as soon as you put her back down, Martha had me go to the bathroom, and then I called you in. Yeah. I called you and I was like, hey babe, can you come? I just want you to be close or something like that. So you're standing in the bathroom with me, and then, like, one of the midwives is down below, like, squatting because she's got, like, the Doppler and she's listening to the baby's heart rate. And we're just sitting there, and then Martha's standing, like, right outside the bathroom, and then out of nowhere, just like, pop, kush, like, water all broke. This water. Yeah, like,
water broke everywhere. Like, everywhere.
Yep. Like something from a movie.
Socks completely soaked. Right?
And
poor nurse midwife, she's right there at eye level. So, you know, you can imagine what happened there.
She probably has fast reflexes. I'm sure I'm used to this. She's like, I'm getting out of the way. But yeah, it was, I just remember everybody was, like, cheering, yay! And I just remember I was just kind of like, okay, thank you. So out of it. And then, but man, after the water broke, it was intense. Cause, like, when that water bubble is gone, it's just like, boom, like, the head is, like, against your pelvis. Like, there's no cushion. So I remember being, like, aware enough to be like, oh, this is, like,
It's
okay,
real.
this is very real. It wasn't like this hurts so bad, but it was just like, wow, this is next level. We're reaching the next level now. I knew that.
Yeah.
And so the way our house is set up and the way we had everything set up, the birth pool was on the main floor. We're upstairs, so now we have to go down the stairs because they're like, since your water broke, let's get you in the water. Let's get you in the pool. So we're going down the stairs, and oh man, those surges going down the stairs, because think about, like, how many position changes that is for the pelvis, like, doing those stairs. Oh yeah, that was, you guys were, like, carrying me, like, basically carrying me down, and then somebody's, like, holding the diaper under me because there's still water gushing out, and, like, such a moment.
But in your own house. So again, you're comfortable. You're not, you know, worried about being in some foreign space while you're doing this.
And so we get downstairs, and I just remember, like, the room looked so beautiful. It looked like exactly how I hoped it would look. I think the lights were on, so I was like, can somebody please hit the lights? As soon as the lights were off, I was like, wow.
Had the candles going.
It was so beautiful. And you had the little mattress on the floor for me by the water, by the birth pool. And so So-san wanted me to lay down there and just kind of wait a little bit. And she said that we were waiting because she said the water was too hot and it needed to cool. I later found out, Martha later told us that it was actually that So-san didn't want me in the water until she heard like a certain sound from me.
Mm-hmm.
So she was waiting to hear that before I could get in.
Yeah.
So very strategic. She was
Smart.
like, yeah, she is like just totally connected.
Yep.
So we have like pictures where I'm just laying on the ground. So calm and relaxed though. Like it's crazy to think, I'm looking back now, my water just broke.
Mm-hmm.
The surges were like intense and I was just like, I remember So-san saying, not yet, just rest. You can't get in the water yet. And I just remember saying like, okay. And I just like laid down on the floor, like, no problem. I'll just be here if you need me. And then you came and did some like more back pressure for me through some surges. And then one of the midwives wanted to check me to see just where we were. And I think she asked in the middle of a surge and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No, like I was like so clear on what I wanted or needed, or I was like no. And then as soon after the surge was over, I said, okay, yes, you can check. So she checked me. She said I think I was a 7 at that point. And I was just like, okay. Again, like the numbers were not staying with me. Yeah, I wasn't like super worried about them.
Right.
And I remember saying like, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. Can somebody help me? And you guys helped me get to the bathroom. And then while I'm there, it's just like my body just went like, huh! like if you're gonna throw up, like when you're throwing up and you're like heaving and like your muscles are contracting, it's not your body. That's what was happening, but it was like down instead of coming out. It was like that. Imagine that, but down.
You're going down.
And as soon as I was like, huh! And then So-san's like, get her in the water, get her in the pool.
That was the sound, right.
That was the sound she was waiting for, yeah. So you guys all again help me over to the water. We get in the birth pool. I'm not sure how this is gonna feel. Like you hear stories about people who want the pool so bad, they get in the water and then they hate it. You never know until you're in the moment. And I just remember as soon as I squatted down in the water, I was like, oh, so relaxing. The warm water was so good. It was perfect. So I was so grateful that I actually loved it. And so at this point now, you're standing up outside of the tub.
I'm kneeling in front of you.
Yeah, and I'm like on my knees in the tub, and I'm like, my arms are like around you. And we're kind of just doing that through a few surges. And I remember saying like, what happens if I want Julian to get in the tub with me? What does that look like? And So-san said you need to go take a shower before you get in.
She had already gave us the preparation a week before. She said, we're going to do the tub thing, but you have to be absolutely clean. You cannot affect the biome of the mother. So I was like, okay. So I know what that means. I need to, if I'm getting in the tub, I need to go upstairs and take a shower. Yeah. So
you ran upstairs to go take a shower. Because at this point, again, like, things are happening quickly, but I think I was so calm and relaxed. Did you know that like baby was gonna come like 30 seconds later?
I did not. So I'm trying to make sure I'm thorough with this shower.
So you're upstairs taking a good shower.
Taking a real good shower, trying to make sure we're all clean here. But meanwhile, baby's on the way.
Like to the point where my body's like, huh. And then So-san puts her hand there and she's like, baby's head. And then she's just yelling your name, Julian! Julian! Like,
Julian, please.
oh!
Relax. No push. Julian, it's coming. Julian. Julian. It's coming. Hey. Hubby. Are you coming?
Yelling for you up the
Yeah,
stairs.
I heard some commotion, but I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
I got to get this shower done.
Yeah.
Because, again, we were warned that
Yeah.
I needed to be completely clean. So,
Yeah, and our nanny was here to, like, in case Savvy would wake up, we'd have someone, like, specifically to take care of Savvy. And so she's running up and down the stairs trying to get you out of the shower.
Yeah.
Banging on the door.
Banging on the door.
And finally you're like, yeah, like, what's up? The baby!
Everybody screaming.
Yeah.
So I come out the bathroom
Uh-huh.
because I took a shower in my swim trunks.
Mhm.
Come out the bathroom, get Savvy.
Was she awake, or
She
did
was
you go
awake.
wake her up?
She was awake, so she was
woke up
already
from all that.
like hearing all the commotion.
Everyone was screaming for you.
So
Except for me. I was just
Right.
like in La La Land.
So grab Savvy, we go running downstairs.
Yeah.
Yep, and I get in the pool.
You hand Savvy to the nanny, and then you hopped in.
Yep.
And then So-san removed her hand.
Okay.
No, it's all right.
It's okay. It's coming. I protected her vagina, so
Okay.
very nice. Jasmine, very nice. Very nice.
Need some water.
Oh, the water is the blue one.
Good job. Good job.
Yes, relax. When babies come out, please change your position. Okay, please look at and bring him. Okay. And soon, baby. Okay.
You want to lean back, baby?
And not yet. The baby's head will come out. Please change the position.
I didn't hear Savvy walk up.
Yes, good.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, good. You can touch your baby's head. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, all right. Okay, just far. Okay, good. Just far. You can touch your baby's head. Okay, far. Okay, okay, change your. Yes, yeah. You can see your baby. Okay, you can see you touch your baby's head. Okay. Okay, far, just far. Just far. And the baby to come out by himself. Okay, just far. It's okay.
We had like one more surge,
Yep.
and then his head was out. And I remember So-san saying, like, you can feel down and feel his head.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember it felt so strange. And I think I might have
She's
said
like,
that. I was
"What?"
like, oh,
Yeah.
so strange.
Yep.
I didn't even know that his head was out. I never felt
No, the
like
baby was out.
how you would imagine feeling when a baby's head comes out of you.
Right.
And she's like, the head is out. I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how out of it and just in this deep hypnosis, that's where I was at that point. And so yeah, after his head came out, Sosan like kind of guided us to like sit back. So I had been like on my knees when his head came out, and then after that she kind of had us rotate and like Julian sit back and then me sit back on you. Yeah. And we just stayed there, and she's like, okay, just breathe, just relax, get your breath, and just wait. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, in the moment, I'm in I'm listening to my Hypnobabies still. I'm totally out of it. But looking back on it, that's so crazy that we're just sitting in the water. His head is just out in the water. Yeah, no one's panicking. No one's telling
her to push and all that craziness.
Nothing.
It's just, hey, the baby's coming. Yeah. Baby knows when he wants to come.
I said, just wait.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting, and I just remember at this point, I'm just like so, I'm such a spiritual place. Like, I'm just like saying like, thank you, God. Like, thank you. Like, I'm just having like such a praise moment. I'm just so grateful. I can't believe this is happening. And we have on video where like as I'm doing that, you're actually looking over and like talking to Savvy.
Yeah.
And just
telling
saying,
her,
like,
tell them little brother's coming.
Yeah, you're like, brother's coming.
Yeah.
And
Doing such a great job.
Okay, baby stand. Okay, just relax. Just good. Please feel baby time. Next contraction, baby time.
Just like that.
oh, thank you, Jesus.
Good job, Savvy. Mommy's having a little brother.
Breathe in and breathe out deeply. Yes, good. Oh, okay. Look at your baby. Look at your baby. No, chin down. Look at. Okay, good.
Good job. Wow. Wow, hold it over here. Wow.
Take a picture. And okay, not outside. Just yeah. Okay, take a picture, please.
Yeah, so that was so special. And then the next thing I know, my body's like, huh, again. And I start like arching my back, like trying to like, I don't know, just naturally was just like finding this weird position. And then Sosan's like, no, like chin to chest, like put your head down. And as soon as I did my chin to chest and then just breathe, and then he just came out into the water. But I was so out of it, like Sosan's like, get your baby, and I'm just like la-di-da-di-da. And then Sosan's like,
that's that chemical cocktail.
Yeah.
She is literally high off her own chemicals, her own body chemicals.
Yeah. I didn't, and then Sosan's just like, okay, I'll get the baby. Sosan had to get the baby because he's just like in the water, just floating. So she kind of grabs him, and we have this shot where she's like handing him to me. Yeah. Underwater though, like I remember we were looking down, and he's still underwater looking at us. Yeah. Wow, like it was so crazy. Like what did you think in that moment? Like
I was again going back to the training. Sosan did such a great job of preparing us. She has shown us a bunch of birth videos that she's done, and Jasmine did a great job of prepping us within the house, and we watched a lot of home birth videos.
As a family, we were watching them every week. A lot of birth pool videos. So we knew that it was okay for the baby to stay underwater as long as they were connected to the umbilical cord.
So I'm just thinking like, man, that baby's chill. Everybody's
Amazing.
chill. Let's not rush it. We'll wait until
Yeah.
it's time to pull the baby out the water.
Yeah, and she'd told us like ahead of time, like worked with us on how, like, she's like, if the water birth happens, you know, like if it goes the way we want, before you get out, like we're gonna turn the baby upside down so that his face is facing down to the water, and then we'll stand you up, and that way as you're getting up, he's not just like swallowing a bunch of water. So that's what happened next.
Turn him
We
over.
turned him over, then you guys helped me stand up.
Please. And yes. Okay. Good. Okay, slowly. Okay. Yeah, stand up. Okay, all right. Okay, yes, that it's okay. Yes. Hold. Please hold. Okay.
Look at that.
You're so strong. My time I was
Okay,
like lying
outside.
in bed.
Okay, here.
Come on, let's bring it to the bed.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Outside. Help me. Yes. Nothing. Can you please help me? And just like this. Okay. Put on. It's okay. Yes.
And we have this just like iconic picture that our doula got. I can't even believe it, where we're just standing there and Nile's like laying here and he's just like there. We just look like some animals or something, like Tarzan and Jane just had this baby in the jungle. It was like so good.
As natural as you can get.
Yeah, and so we step out of the birth tub. Like at this point, Nile hadn't made any sounds or anything yet, but still no one was rushing, no one was worried.
It's still a calm environment.
Yeah.
You would have not even thought we just had a baby. Everybody
everyone
just
was
calm
very
and
chill,
a lot of
quiet.
oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
You know, quiet oohs and ahs. Nobody screaming, nobody sweating, nobody
Nothing.
yelling. It's just
Yeah.
peaceful promise.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we get out of the tub, and then Sosan wanted to get me laid down on that mattress, and so she kind of was like, okay, let's hand the baby to Julian. Well, he's still attached to the umbilical cord, so you couldn't like yank him up far, but like you're holding
I tried.
him. You tried. Yeah. They're like, oh, careful. So you're holding him. As soon as you like put him to your body, he starts crying. Like it was like he just came to life, like right on your chest. Like until that moment, nothing. And then the second you held him, he just came. He was just here. He came into his body.
That's right.
And I totally lost it. Like I was
She started crying.
like ugly crying, like like so. Oh my God! Yeah, I couldn't have like how it couldn't get any more perfect. Like,
it was a scene out of a movie.
What? Yeah, and so that was just. Now we're hearing him crying, and
it's real
you're
now.
holding
He's
him.
here.
Yeah, you guys got me laid down.
You hear Savvy in the background, like little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys got me laid down and handed him to me, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. You're so great, baby. You did so great. Look at that.
Good job.
Hey, son. Hey, son. Look at that face. Hey, son.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, that's good. Good job. You are very calm. I'm very surprised. Really calm.
So quiet.
There you go.
There's Savvy.
She's right here. She's
Here,
right
here.
She's right here. Savvy girl.
Baby. Here, touch mommy's.
Come here, baby girl. It's okay. It's okay. Come here.
Love. Daddy's gonna pick you up.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
She just did that.
we just
Yeah.
we did it. Like wow, yeah, and it was
Surreal.
just it was
Surreal
so
experience.
surreal. Yeah, and we waited for the placenta to come on its own. There was no like pressure about that or concern about that, or it just came. I will say that those surges after Nile was born were so intense. I think part of it was because now I was like very present. I was not
adrenaline rush is gone.
Yeah, I wasn't doing the Hypnobabies anymore at that point. But also, because you're like having the contractions once the baby's already here, your body's kind of like, why am I still feeling this? So it felt, those surges felt way worse than the ones that actually brought him here. Like I was like, oh my. So yeah, those were intense, but also like I was holding him, and it was still such a perfect moment that it's like, whatever, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. Well, let's do it. Whatever. What else do I need to do?
Exactly. And you know, one thing I was impressed with, because we weren't forced to push, there was limited tearing. Yeah,
there was like no. I mean, very like superficial, minor tear this time. So small. Like all I had to do, all they told me afterwards was to just try to make sure I lay down a lot with my legs together for like the first week or so, and they said the skin would like fuse back together on its own, and it did. Whereas the first time, with the guided pushing and the epidural and everything, and the rushed pushing, I tore really like what I feel was pretty severe tear that first time. So the healing process was so different. And this time, what?
Yeah.
Like
smooth.
Yeah, and so we stayed downstairs. I stayed laying down on my back, and Nile got like all of his like first vitals and everything right there in our living room. Like
right there. Oh man.
It's so cool.
It was the best.
Yeah.
Because again, controlled environment, super comfortable. You trust the people that are involved.
Yeah.
And you're just not worried at all. So then I went to the kitchen, washed my hands.
Yeah.
Started cooking for everyone.
Because it was like, I think he was born, what was it, 6:04 in the morning. So we labored through the night, and then in the morning as the sun was coming up, he just came right into the world.
That's
and
right.
So it was like, what? I mean, everything I hoped, everything I saw this birth so many times in my head throughout the pregnancy. Every single box was checked, like everything. It was perfect. Like,
I mean, it truly felt like a village.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like we had a village taking part and you know, giving birth.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we're here with these strangers.
Yeah.
You know, we had been dealing with these folks for, you know, months.
Yeah, almost a year.
Almost a year, and then everybody was present for the grand finale.
Yeah.
So, man, can't get much better than that.
It was a dream. I'm just, I always say, like, especially, you know, being in the birth world, working with pregnancy and birth, I fully like understand that you can prepare and prepare and prepare and prepare, and your birth is really out of your hands, right? It's gonna go the way it's gonna go. And so I feel like this birth was such a gift.
Yeah.
I know I don't take it away from us that we prepared. Like we did so much work. I was doing like this was like my full-time job. Preparing for this birth was like intense. But I know that you can do that and then still have wild cards thrown at you, and your birth just goes a different way, you know? And so I'm so grateful that the preparation, we did it. But more than that, I'm grateful that like the universe just blessed us with this birth, and that this was the birth that Nile wanted and needed. And
exactly. Like,
yeah. I think
babies know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, just gotta let them do them.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that you guys said right afterwards, I was like, let's do it again.
Let's do it again. I was like, oh my goodness. But
I don't remember saying it, but I believe. I mean, it sounds like something I would say.
Said, let's do it again. She said, wow, that was it. She was still high, all of her chemicals, and she wanted to do it again right then and there.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was great. It
was good.
So,
anything else you think? Anything that we left out, or anything we should say, or?
No, that was it. You know, I mean, just know what you're doing, and it's training. Get yourself the information. You know, do it as a family. Make it fun. This doesn't have to be a tasking thing. You know, you guys you have fun making the baby. You know, have fun studying how to bring the baby into the world, and then have fun bringing the baby into the world. It should all come from a place of love. And so You should, for the fellas out there, support. Your job is to be the pillar of support during the whole process. You know, the woman's going to do what she needs to do. The mom's going to do what she needs to do. The baby knows what the baby needs to do. The husband, you're there for everything else.
Yeah. And I just say that, you know, again, like the preparation, like you were saying, it is definitely key. The physical preparation, but so much of it is also just the mental and spiritual preparation. And also, part of that preparation, though, is like allowing yourself to release. So like prepare and then release, right? Like I've done what I can do, and now I just trust that I will have everything that I need to have a healthy and safe birth, and to bring this baby here the way they need to be brought here. So it's like preparing for everything, and then also just knowing that you're in good hands, and it's going to be what it needs to be, and and you'll have everything you need, and however that unfolds. So yeah, I'm just like, if we do it again.
She wants to do it here in Japan.
Yeah, I only want to have kids here in Japan at this point. Good luck having a baby with me anywhere else in the world.
Right.
But if we do it again, if we're blessed to do it again, I don't even know like how can we just copy and paste this exact birth, please? Let's just keep putting that into the universe, like same birth.
I think we can.
But even if it's different, I'm grateful for this experience that we had. Exactly. So, yeah. Okay.
All right.
That's all.
Thanks,
if
guys.
you are on this journey yourself now, if you're thinking about home birth, if you are already planning your home birth, if your home birth is happening like tomorrow, we are with you. We are thinking about you, and we believe in you.
That's right.
Yeah. Bye.